These are the brand new Milwaukee Gen 3 M18 fuel compact impact wrenches. We're going to throw these right in the middle of testing. When we get back, I'm Tim Johnson. You're watching Shop Tool Reviews. This is the Milwaukee 2855 and 2854 compact impact wrench. Now it's on their M18 fuel platform, so you get the brushless motor. The 2854 is going to have a 3/8 anvil, and the 2855 is going to have the 1/2 inch anvil. Now, we first talked about these a few months ago when we talked about Milwaukee's first pipeline event, their episode 1, which I'll put a link right here. And that was basically when they were talking about all their new tools that they were going to be coming out with. And this was one of the first tools they talked about were the new impact wrenches, and we were excited to see them. Now, they just showed up, so we thought, hey, why not just throw them right in the middle of testing, show you guys first use. Until you see these used, these have not been used yet. Now that I've used them, they've been used, but when the footage you're seeing is going to be the first time we've used them, so you get that. Anyway, so let's just quit talking. We'll talk about the features. Once we get done talking about the features, we'll actually put them on the test rig. We'll actually use these things, and then we'll come back here. We'll talk about some of the numbers, and then we'll wrap it up. These are the brand new, never before seen Milwaukee M18 compact impact wrenches. Okay, it's not true. They have been seen before, but not by all, and not in this manner anyway. Seriously though, this is the Milwaukee 2854 and the 2855, and it's the brand new M18 compact impact wrenches. So 2854 is just a 3/8 anvil, and the 2855 is the 1/2 inch anvil. Both these are the hog ring style. And you'll notice right away, number one, aside from the size of this thing, which is tiny, is the triple LED on the front of this tool. Amazing. Great job, Milwaukee, for doing that. Love to see that. So now we're surrounding that fastener, surrounding that socket with light. So we're getting a lot better light display than on the old style or on the other Milwaukee impacts. Also, size-wise, when you look at this, here's the M12 stubby. So you're looking at basically the identical length. I think they say this one's a little bit shorter. The new one's a little bit shorter, but we're just going to call them the same. I mean, they're basically the same length, and that's a 12-volt tool. That's a 12-volt impact. This is the new M18. So that's the size-wise. Again, if this were a bigger battery, height would be about the same as well. As far as weight goes, you're looking at right about 4 pounds. We'll zero this out, and what I'm going to do, I'm just going to stick with the 1/2 inch anvil, and we'll go off this, which is again the 2855 with the 5 amp hour battery, and we're right at 4 pounds. So 4 pounds, 1/2 ounce. And if we get rid of that stupid belt clip, then that'll save our 1/2 ounce. So I know you construction guys, you love your belt clips, but mechanics, people working around vehicles, construction, heavy equipment, they're not going to wear a belt clip. But anyway, can't mark Milwaukee for including a belt clip. We'll just take that off real quick. Anyway, really nice tool. Really excited to see this. Again, real small form factor. Looks about the size, again, of the M12 stubby and of basically like an impact driver. Some of the key features here are the 4 speed modes here, and really what you've got are 3 power modes. Power mode 1 is going to give us 800 RPMs and 1,000 impacts per minute. Now, we do have a variable speed trigger, so we can make that as slow as we want to, all the way up to wide open, which is going to give us our 800 RPMs, and once it starts impacting, up to 1,000 impacts per minute. Now, going to power mode 2 or speed mode 2, we're going to bump up to 1,650 RPMs, and our impacts per minute are going to go up to 2,400. So again, we got that variable speed trigger. We can go as close to zero almost as possible. I don't know, maybe 100 RPMs maybe. And then all the way up to that threshold of 1,650. And then we go to power mode 3, which is going to give us 2,400 RPMs. And it's going to give us 3,500 impacts per minute. And by the way, when you go to the next mode as well, that's going to be identical as well. That's going to stay with 2,400 RPM and 3,500 impacts per minute as well. And that's the auto mode. Now, in tightening, what it's going to do, it's going to take that bolt to when it senses that it's starting to firm up, or when it's sensing that it's going to snug up, and then it's going to stop the fastener. It's going to stop the socket. They're saying no more than 20 foot-pounds. But anyway, as soon as it senses that it's tightening, it's going to stop. In the auto mode coming off, as soon as it senses that it's broken free, in other words, it's going to apply 100% of power, and as soon as it senses that it's broken free, it's going to slow that way down and back that fastener off very slowly. So we'll try all those modes over on the test bench. Other things about this, you can get it with the bare tool, which would be a 2855-20, and then with the two 5 amp hour batteries and the charger in the case, you're looking at the 2855-22. So really good looking tool. Really excited to take this over and use it. We literally have not used these yet, so you'll be the first to see it in action with us. Typical directional trigger here as well, so forward and reverse. Really good looking size, really good, feeling good in the hand, nice and balanced here. So let's take it over. Let's try this thing out and see what it works like. Okay, so first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna go into tighten mode we're gonna go speed 3. And we're gonna see how tight we can get these. We're gonna hammer on them for 5 seconds. So once it starts impacting, I'll count to 5. I'll move all the way down this row, all the way to all 10 of these. Now, once I get done, I'll take an electronic torque wrench. I'll back all of them off. We'll get a reading on those. Then we'll divide by a factor to get an idea of the tightening force on this. They're claiming 250. Milwaukee claims it has 250 foot-pounds of tightening force, 250 foot-pounds of loosening torque as well. We should be able to get a good gauge of whether or not we're kind of hitting those numbers or not. I'll explain that to you in a moment. So let's go ahead, and again, I'm going to hit on these for 5 seconds each, all the way down the line. I have a full battery here, so you can see, got my full 5.0 amp hour battery, so we're good to go. And again, I am in speed 3, or power mode 3, however you want to say that. Okay, let's check our battery here. So we haven't even dropped a cell yet, so that's good. So we've hit all 10 of these, hit them for at least 5 seconds on power mode 3 or speed 3 to see how tight it can get these fasteners. Now we're going to take a torque wrench, break these free, and we'll write those calculations down. Now we're going to take our torque wrench and we're going to back these off, and then we'll write each one of these numbers down to see where we're at, okay? So first one, 182.8 foot-pounds, 151.3, 163.5, 188.7, 191.6, 201.5, 178.3, 195.3, 227.4, 205.1. So we'll give you those numbers again here in a moment and do some calculations and tell you what those mean. But for now, what we're going to do is we're going to actually set these fasteners at different torque ratings, with the last 5 being 250 foot-pounds, but we're going to do somewhere between 100 and 250 foot-pounds, and to see how easily the impact wrench will be able to break these free and do it kind of in succession, if you will, or one after another. Okay, so I'm going to set my high torque gun here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead, since it's already set at 250 foot-pounds, we'll go ahead and let's torque the last 5 here to 250 foot-pounds. Okay, so those are set. So now let's back this down, and we'll go to 200 foot-pounds, and we'll do these 2 at 200 foot-pounds. And then let's go to 150. There we go. So we'll do these two at 150. And then we'll do this last one at just 100 foot-pounds. There we go. Okay, so here's what we have. We've got 100 foot-pounds, 150, 150, 200, 200, 250, 250, 250, all the way down. So starting at the 6th fastener, we've got 250 all the way down. The first one's at 100. Let's see what we get at 100. Let's see if it'll break that free quickly. Yeah, no problem at all. Okay, here's 150. No problem there. So now we're at 200. No problem there. 200. No problem there. Actually, that was 100, 150, 150, 200. Another 200. No problem there. Okay, now we'll go to 250. No problem there. I'll just keep on going down the line. Okay, so I would say as far as the nut busting torque, no problem whatsoever. It's easily got 250 foot-pounds of nut busting force. We tightened those down to 250 foot-pounds, and we did 5 of those and some of the others lesser, but it easily broke those free. You see it didn't hammer for very long at all, so definitely say the 2855 has got more than enough to break free 250 foot-pounds on a fastener. So let's go over a couple of the other features, and then we'll go back and we'll do some of those calculations. So let's look at the auto removal mode and auto tightening mode, if you will, or bolt removal mode. So now I've got it in that 4th mode here, and you'll see when I tighten here, and I'll keep my finger on the trigger, so you see it actually stopped. We'll do it again, and you see it actually runs that fastener on pretty slow, and as soon as it starts hammering, it stops. I've still got my finger on the trigger. I'll do it one more time, and you see it actually stops as soon as it starts impacting. So that's that 4th mode that's kind of got some automatic feedback, if you will, once it senses that. So it's pretty much going to do the same thing on loosening, just in kind of the reverse format, if you will, if you could think about that. So when I've got it in reverse, and again I've got it on the auto mode, you'll see that once it senses that it's loose, it'll slow it down. You see it slowed that fastener down. See how slow it went to? So it went from 100% power. So it doesn't actually stop, but at least it slows that fastener down. Okay, real quick, can I do one thing here? This is just really bothering me, so I've got to do this. There. That's more like it. Now we've got 2 impact wrenches. We don't need no belt clips. This is not construction work. Just kidding. I don't like belt clips on my tools. I don't know. I know some of you do. Some of you like to hang them off your tool belts, hang them off your pants. I don't. So there we have it. Easy as that. Hey, listen, very impressive. These compact tools, same size as the M12 stubby, basically, as we showed you, but on the M18 platform. So a lot of people will ask, well, why would you want this over the stubby if they're the same power and same kind of weight scale, if you will, which is just a little heavier because you've got a bigger battery. But anyway, and there's a lot to answer that, but real quickly, I would say that number one, with an M18 battery, you're going to have a lot more use out of it. The M12 battery, even like if you get their XC 6.0, it's not going to last as long as a 5.0 18 volt. So the amount of fasteners that you can take on and off, the M18 is going to be better. Also, if you're already invested in the M18 platform and you're not in the M12, it makes sense for you to buy the M18 compact. Vice versa on the other side, you know, if you're invested already into the M12 platform and you're not in the M18, then because you already have batteries, you may steer towards the M12 stubby. Again, there's a lot more answers that I can add to that, but real quickly, there is a need for an M18 compact as well as the M12 stubby. So not against either one of those. The Tri-LED light is awesome. Love to see that now. Again, you get a lot better light dispersion, if you will, around that fastener and around that socket than you did when it shined up from the bottom. Just gives you, it's directing that light exactly where you're pointing this. It's not having to guess, if you will. So love to see that. All the different features, hey, I'm a fan, I guess. I'm not a big feature person when it comes to impact tools. I like the tightening feature better than the loosening feature. Again, I'm going to use that finger to throttle, if you will. But the fact that you can just hold your finger on that trigger, zip it all the way on, and it's going to stop on its own, that's pretty cool. That's not going to over tighten that fastener. Now I can come back with a torque wrench and tighten those to the specified torque and what have you. Now let's talk about the numbers where we were actually on the bench and tightening those bolts. So we took each one of those 10 bolts and we tightened it with the impact wrench with the 2855, which is the 1/2 inch anvil, as tight as it would go for 5 seconds. Once it started impacting, we counted to 5, moved to the next one, did all 10 of those the same way. Now what we did, we then took our torque wrench, our electronic torque wrench, and got a good torque rating of what it took to break those free. Now, what we know is to break a fastener free takes less force than to tighten it. So you've got several things coming into effect there. You've got the ramp or the pitch of the threads. You've got the fact that it's continually tightening or stretching the bolt as you tighten versus loosening. You're coming off that ramp, you're loosening the bolt. Just makes a little sense. It's easier to loosen than it is to tighten. So that's why you kind of have a factor, if you will. So when we tighten that bolt, if it takes 180 foot-pounds to back it off, that doesn't mean it was torqued to 180. It means it was probably torqued to 200, 250, something like that. And what we've seen, no matter how many of these we've done, and we test each one of our samples when we do it, we typically get somewhere between 75 and 80% as far as how much force it takes to back something off. In other words, if we tighten it to 100 foot-pounds, it typically only takes 75 or 80 foot-pounds to break that free. Now we validated that again, and we did a test of 10 of these bolts again. We torqued them to 100 foot-pounds and to 200 foot-pounds, then we broke them free to get a reading, and our average was 77%, right in between our 75 and 80%. I said all that to say this. So we take all of our numbers, we divide by 0.77. We divide by that factor, and that should tell us how much fastening torque that this actually applied to those fasteners over there. So I'll go through them again. It was 182.8, 151.3, 163.5, 188.7, 191.6, 201.5, 178.3, 195.3, 227.4, and 205.1. Now what that came out to was 237.4, 196.5, 212.3, 245.1, 248.8, 261.7, 231.6, 253.6, 295.3, and 266.4. Average all of that out, comes out to 244.9, so 245 foot-pounds. So looking at our calculations, we're calculating 245 foot-pounds of fastening force. They're claiming 250. I would say we're definitely in that window of where we could definitely be on an error, or they could, but regardless, we're at 245 and not 50. We're within a few percent, right? So I would validate that it's got 250 foot-pounds of force for tightening, and then we saw that once we tightened them to 250 foot-pounds, it broke them free, no problem whatsoever. So I think it's doing every bit of what Milwaukee's claiming it will do. Now, will the 3/8 do the same? We'll have to see on a different day. This video is already getting a little long. As far as price goes, you're looking at $199 for the bare tool. So the 2855, I believe the same as the 2854, is going to run you $199 for the bare tool. Now, I don't see that the kits are available yet. This is available right now if you wanted to buy this, Home Depot, Acme Tools, you name it. Wherever you buy your Milwaukee tools, you can get them. Again, it's $199 for the bare tool, 5-year warranty on the tool. The kit, it looks like it's going to be $369, but I don't believe the kit's available yet with the two 5.0 amp hour batteries and the charger. Hey, make sure you check them out. Also keep track of us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. If you don't mind, would you hit that like and subscribe button if you like this video? By all means, if you didn't like this video, give us that thumbs down, but would you let us know in the comments why? Have a great day and go out and do something nice for someone. Now, brothers and sisters, I tell you this, the decision time is here. Now, I can't make that decision for you, but you need to search your own hearts and say, is this the tool for me? And you may ask yourself, is this the tool that will release me from the clutches of the enemy? And I say no, but it will release the binds of that rusty lug nut. And you may say, is this the tool that is going to set me on the path of the straight and narrow? And I say no, but it will light the path for you to walk in it. Now I will tell you in James it tells us, if we know what we ought to do and we don't do it, that's sin. So I tell you this, search your hearts. Is this the tool that you should buy? And you make that choice. Now, I don't care if you buy it at the Home Depot, if you buy it at the Acme tool store, wherever you decide and see fit. It's your decision, and today's decision day.